Hello everyone, welcome. My name's Ali. Today we're going to be talking about Call of Duty Ghosts and specifically the perks within multiplayer. Now, of course, I got to play multiplayer last week. I've done lots of videos for you guys so far, including kill streaks, creator class, prestige mode, gameplays here on my channel. But perks are very interesting within Call of Duty Ghosts multiplayer because the whole system's been switched up, a load of new ones have been added, and of course some fan favorites perks have returned as well. And within this video, I'm going to cover all of the perks and what we think they are so far. These seem to be pretty accurate, so unless anything changes massively until its launch date on November the 5th, then these are the perks we should be getting within multiplayer, which is awesome. Now, in terms of the actual perk system, it's been changed. No longer do you just choose one perk or a few perks from a few categories. It's been changed to a point system. Now, you can choose within creator class a primary, a secondary, a tactical and lethal, and then have 8 points, and the 8 points are designated for choosing perks, each perk costing a different amount of points. However, if you get rid of your secondary or get rid of your tactical or get rid of your lethal, you give yourself an additional point for each thing you decide not to use, so an additional of maximum 3 additional points added on to the 8 points. So maximum number of points you can have to choose on perks is 11 if you choose to ditch the secondary, lethal and tactical, but 8 is a standard if you're using everything else. So there are different categories for the perks, as you can see on screen. And all of these perks do loads of different things. We have 7 different categories in total with over 30 different perks to choose from. I'm going to go through each of the different categories, each of the different perks one by one, and give you my thoughts on each of these categories once we've finished. So start off, we have the first category, speed. The first perk here is 1 point, and it's essentially quick draw, which means you can zoom in faster with your weapon, quicker ADS essentially. Next off, we have sleight of hand, which allows for faster reloading. Third here, we have agility for faster movement speed. Fourth, we have marathon for longer sprint duration. And finally, we've got stalker, which allows you to move faster when you're aiming down sight with your weapon. So if you're a very aggressive player, you like to get to an objective quicker, and you'd like to be as fast as possible, the categories you're seeing here, speed, a lot of the perks are very, very useful. I think quick draw and stalker are my 2 favourite from that class. You've got sleight of hand in there as well, which is useful. There are so many perks in this game, you're definitely going to end up having lots of different classes with so many different perk loadouts and class loadouts. So the next class we've got here is handling. Within the handling class for the different perks, we've got the first one, strong arms, which means you can throw equipment and lethals further. Now, if you've ever seen any of my gameplay, you'll know that within Ghost, when the character throws anything, it goes nowhere, or not very far at least compared to the other Call of Duty games. So this perk is essentially to make up for that. If you want to throw things further, if you want to try and get a grenade on a certain point, say in domination, as soon as you start the map, you want to use this perk just so you can make sure you're throwing those things as far as possible. Next up here, we have on the go for 2 points, which means you can reload while sprinting, another very, very useful perk. Next up here, we have fast hand, so you can switch between your weapons quicker for 2 points. We then got steady aim, the return of steady aim for another 2 points, which means your hip fire spread is closer, more compact, more accurate when you're not aiming down sight. And then finally, dexterity, which allows you to bring up the weapon quicker after you've been sprinting. So this handling class is useful. I don't think I'll be using too much from it. I think on the go is very, very useful, but even then, I don't know if I actually need it or not. These perks are quite specific in terms of your playstyle, so maybe you'll use them, maybe you won't. The next up here, we've got stealth. And this is take down, the first perk, a very useful perk actually. It means that when you kill an enemy, there won't be a death symbol on the enemy team's map for that enemy dying. If you're a good player, you're constantly checking for teammate deaths on your map, and if you see them, you know that someone's gone down over there, so you can presume there's an enemy over there. So if you're trying to rush a lot, this is going to be a very useful perk. Next off, we've got blind eye for 2 points, which means you're undetectable by computer controlled kill streaks. Next off, we've got off the grid, which means you're undetectable by enemy satcoms. Satcoms are essentially the new UAVs which you place on the ground. Next up here, we have dead silence for 2 points. Now, either this means you make no noise at all when you're running, or a lot less noise, we're not too sure there. And then finally, ghost. This is different, of course, from ghost in previous games. This just means that you've got no red crosshair above your name or above your character, and no name tag essentially. So if someone looks at you and you're lying down in grass and you're barely moving, it's going to be hard to spot you. Now, I don't think I'll be using too many of these perks. Takedown sounds useful actually if I'm being very aggressive, but aside from that I can live without most of these perks. Next up here we have Awareness. Now Awareness starts off with Recon for 1 point, which means if you hit enemies with your gun or explosives, it will paint them as an arrow on the minimap, same as Recon for Modern Warfare 3. Next up we have the standard scavenger that everyone knows and loves, which means you can replenish ammo when you walk over enemies. Doesn't mean you start with extra ammo though, just means you can replenish ammo. Next up here we have Sit Rep. This means you can see enemy equipment on the map, which is very useful if you want to go and destroy enemy satcoms, for example. Next up here we have Awareness, which means you can hear enemy footsteps louder. This is a perk I loved within Modern Warfare 3 and used all the time to hear the enemies. I think I'll be using this a lot within Ghost as well. And then finally within the Awareness tier we have Wiretap. Talked about this a little bit within my SATCOM video. This allows you to take the number of SATCOMs the enemy currently has on the team and add it onto the number of SATCOMs you currently have on your team, and that will be the sort of level at which your SATCOMs will work on your team. There are 4 different tiers for SATCOMs. If you don't know what I'm on about, check out my video on my channel. Now these Awareness perks are very, very useful. Recon is awesome but quite specific, something I could live without, but Scavenger and Awareness are something I think I'll use a lot. Starting off with the Resistance, we've got Lightweight, which means you take no falling damage. Next up here we've got Painkiller. Doesn't give you additional health but allows you to recover your health quicker, we believe. Next up we've got Toughness, which is reduced flinch. I love this perk. And Proficiency in Modern Warfare 3. I guess I'll be using this a lot unless I learn to deal without it, and if I learn to live without Toughness then it's 2 points I can spend elsewhere, so that would probably be what ends up happening. And then finally the last 2 equate for Tac Mask first, and then the final one is Blast Shield, and this gives you resistance to tactical and lethal grenades according to the first and second one, and those are 2 perks as well. Resistance ones, I don't know if I'll be using too much. Lightweight I don't use in Call of Duty anyway. Tac Resistant Blast Shield I probably won't use, but Toughness and Painkiller are very useful I think when a game first comes out especially, but once you get to know the maps etc, I think I can live without those. Next of all we've got Equipment here. This is going to affect your loadout essentially, so starting off with Tac +1, this will give you an extra tactical grenade if you're keen on using stuns etc. Next up here we've got Lethal +1, which gives you an extra lethal grenade, but that costs 2 points rather than the tactical one which costs 1 point. Third of all we've got Bandolier, which gives you extra magazines and extra ammo to start off with, so it's similar to Scavenger but not exactly the same. They both work a little bit differently. The fourth one here we believe to be an extra attachment for your main weapon, which means if you want to have more attachments than just the standard, you can rock this perk and you can get that as well. And then finally within this category we have Danger Close, which increases your explosive damage, a not too popular perk from Modern Warfare 2 because of course if you partner that with noob tubes it became very, very powerful. I assume this will be reduced in effect so it won't be overly powered or overly annoying. It will be balanced out. For equipment I don't think I'll be using these. Perhaps Bandolier will be the only one I touch. The rest of them I can live without. Now with the final category, Elite, this is a bit of an interesting category because the perks within this category are very specialized. Some of you guys may use them all the time, some of you guys may never find them useful at all. And the details for this category are a little bit vague for the first one at least. For Gamble, for 1 point, I've heard that it gives you a random perk. So you go in, you literally gamble. If you're using this for 1 point, then you could get something worth 2 or 3 points and be really lucky, or you could get something completely rubbish. But I've also heard that it allows you to re-roll care packages, so look out for that once the game was released. Next up here we have Hardline, which means 1 less kill per streak. Next up here we have Ping, which means when you kill an enemy it will indicate any enemies that were near that enemy you just killed. So it's useful if you're killing someone, say in the enemy spawn, you shoot him, if there's a load of enemies around him then they'll all be indicated for you, so that could be very, very useful. The next one here we believe to be Overkill, which means you can have 2 primaries instead of a primary and a secondary. If you guys like that kind of thing, up to you. Personally I think I've used that perk probably under 10 times in the whole time I've ever played Call of Duty. I don't find it useful at all personally. And the final one here is very, very interesting. It's called Deadeye. It's 5 points, so it costs a lot, but it means you have an increased probability of dealing more damage from your weapon the greater kill streak you are on. So I really want to test out exactly how this perk works, but the idea behind it is that the greater streak you go on, the more damage you have as a possibility of dealing to the enemy. So I don't believe it's consistent, i.e. I don't believe that as soon as you hit 10 or as soon as you hit 20 you're suddenly dealing a lot more damage. I just think it's progressive, so if you hit 10 or 20 you have a greater chance of dealing more damage. Now this is something I really want to test out so I can give you guys exact details, but that's what we know about so far. So those are all of the perks within the game. If you want to, you can pretend you have 8 points, choose 8 points worth of perks and leave them as a comment in the comment section down below, just so I can know what you guys are liking so far. And of course I'll keep you guys updated if anything changes or I get any more information, and of course I'll be keeping you guys up to date with the latest Call of Duty Ghosts news and information as we lead up to its launch on November the 5th. Hopefully you guys have found this video interesting and helpful, and I'll see you guys on my next video.